Right, I've done my work for the day, guys.
You did it.
All right.
I did it.
All you had to do.
All right. Smoke break. Take 5, everybody. You did great.
I have pushed 2 buttons. I feel like I have accomplished something.
That's all you were supposed to do is just push the button.
I'm used to telling people how to push the buttons, not actually pushing the buttons, Ahmad. You know this.
Push the button, go down there. Oh.
I recognize that.
Oh, this music. Every time.
Yeah, I love it. I don't know why my dogs are barking. It's driving me crazy.
My son's out back hitting golf balls, so I'm hoping that ends well.
First world problems.
Yeah, until he breaks something or someone.
Right. Then expensive first world problem.
Exactly.
You know it. So what's going on, y'all? This is the Marauders, and we are definitely happy for this particular podcast. We have so much exciting things to talk about. But you know, I couldn't do this alone, so I'm gonna let my co-hosts introduce themselves, starting with my brother to my left.
That's me, right?
Yeah, because I didn't
All
say
right, I'm not good with left and right, so you got to really dumb that down for the ginger over here, okay?
it's the ginger.
It's the ginger. So tonight it's the lore wizard. I just felt like it was a return. I was staring at that shiny belt earlier, and I was like, you know, nobody else has won one of those yet. So why not just go ahead and remind everyone that it's still the lore wizard? And in case you can't see very well, but right here in the background, we have Emperor Palpatine's lightsaber. So the newest addition to the collection. Thank you, GameStop.
And of course, below to me.
Below to you. Hello to you. My name is William. I once again didn't get fancy with the names tonight. My wife is out of town. I have 3 children I'm dealing with, 3 animals, and lots of craziness. And so lots of running around before I got on here. So I'm just happy to be here, and it's quiet. And that's fantastic. So
I'm giving you like a 2.5.
Third animal. Oh, if I keep forgetting about the one that likes to try to kill.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're going to expound on that?
He has a cat, and I'm allergic to cats. And the cat loves to try to come and touch me. So
I just want some love, Ace. Come on.
It's not. There's some sinister behind it because my cat's name is Chuck Norris for a reason. He's trying to end Ahmad's life. I'm convinced of it. Every time he comes over, he's like, I will find a way to cause an allergic outbreak.
And he uses all his ninja skills because sometimes we don't even see him, and then he'll just be right there looking
right there.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, you guys didn't want us to talk about cats, but we are the Marauders. This is the Nerd Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, we go live every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And so we want to, first of all, acknowledge our sponsor before we jump off into these stories, because we're going to jump right into it. So thank you, Sonic. Thank you, Sonic.
Love you and your app.
Yes, facts.
Right. So yeah, I'm thinking of which, I don't know what me and my family might eat tonight, so we might pick up some Sonic. Who knows?
Get you a foot long?
Nah, I think I love their burgers, man. I like it.
I think my kids are having some friends or something over this weekend, and so I was like, I ain't cooking a whole bunch of stuff, so Sonic might be my go-to.
You think your kids are having friends over?
Yeah, it's not confirmed yet. Like they're it's on the other family.
They're just randomly going to show up.
Maybe I'm in control of nothing. I've learned.
I like your style. I dig it. Not as much as I love Sonic, but I dig it.
Well, again, thank you, Sonic. And so with that, we're gonna get straight to the show. So, Shane, what was that news that you just sent us?
I just sent you guys some news. That news would be Suicide Squad, first official trailer coming tomorrow. Confirmed by James Gunn. Really excited for it. Obviously, I liked the first Suicide Squad. This is going to feel like an entirely different movie, in my opinion, with all the different characters and the turnover and stuff like that. We got some returning characters, right?
Yes, we do. I
Harley Quinn, right?
Harley Quinn should be there, but there was one. I can't think of his name. He was on SEN too, But yeah, we do have returning characters. Is the answer to your question? We do obviously have brand new characters. We know John Cena has a character, and his character actually has been greenlit for a HBO series. So apparently they
He's
must.
not going to die.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to die. It could be a prequel.
Okay, thanks for spoiling all my fun.
I don't know, I haven't looked ahead. I'm just saying that's the out of the rumor mill. So I mean, I know it's going to happen. I mean, obviously, you lock down John Cena. You definitely want to have some as much as you can with him. I mean, I don't know why they are planning to do a series with him. I mean, to just see nothing on a screen but just backgrounds is just going to drive people crazy. But I mean, apparently that's what they want to do.
I mean,
For those people didn't catch that reference, you can't see John Cena. You can't see him.
That's a fact.
Anyway,
floating suit.
William, what's your thoughts about Suicide Squad, man? Are you looking forward to it?
No, I'm going into it with no expectations. The first one was one of those things where I watched it and it was just kind of it felt like a Marvel movie with all the jokes and the ha-has. And I watched a video today explaining what went wrong with several of the DC movies, and one of them was the Suicide Squad movie in regards to the point they made was that DC movies are supposed to feel like graphic novels. Well, they have a tendency to feel like graphic novels, where Marvels have a tendency to feel like they're breaking the fourth wall, a lot of ha-ha, kind of laugh at ourselves. Humor, oh, the world's ending, let me crack a few jokes about it, versus DC, when the world's ending, the characters feel like the world's ending. And it's like this with this. We'll talk about that obviously for the Snyder Cut, but it's a more feel to it. And whereas the Suicide Squad had so many problems during production, it derailed this, that, and the other. They're adding more humor into it. Same thing they did with the Whedon thing. It's like, we need to add more jokes, go back and reshoot. And again, it was one of those things where I watched it. Not a rewatchable type movie for me. Not something that I was like, okay. It was like, meh. But I'm going into this next one with zero expectation, and maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I mean, especially with James Gunn at the helm, it's one of those things.
Right.
They're cutting grass. Really, we're just right at the moment. But anyway, so James Gunn is at the helm. So obviously, this was his first movie that he got back after being let go by Disney. So he's super excited about this project, and I'm sure he has more creative control than what the other person had when they filmed the first Suicide Squad. Because I mean, David Ayers, I think it is. Obviously, people want the Ayers cut now of Suicide Squad, but obviously that's probably not going to happen because they're shifting all of the focus over to the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I want to touch on what Brown said real quick, because I strongly disagree with you. Strongly disagree with you that Marvel doesn't give you this sense of like impending doom, let's say. Because I mean, I'm just going to focus on the more recent, Endgame and that. So, but I feel like they did a great job building that sense. Now, Marvel's always going to cut a joke or two, and I'm fine with that. There's a little bit of comedy in it, and I think that's what makes Marvel fun. But they set that up so well, and you felt it, like when the characters disappeared, and you felt the snap, and you go back and you look at the reactions. Like, I feel like they did a really good job balancing the comedy and the drama, and I feel like you get that. Now, some movies have more drama than others, or comedy, I guess I should say, not drama, but I feel like with Endgame and that whole they did a great job setting that up and making the build feel like it meant something. And then the final sequence, while it took too long to get there, in my opinion, the final sequence was amazing, and there wasn't a lot of comedy in that. That was tense and emotional, obviously, with the snap and all that stuff. So I don't know.
I think kind of what he's saying. But Go ahead, Brian.
But I was gonna say, but that's Endgame. I give you that. That's one good example of that building up to a real kind of gut-wrenching moment, which I would point out is one of the most iconic moments in all of the series they made for all those movies. Was that snapping moment where it left you on that cliffhanger, which was I don't want to use it as like a ploy. It was more not a gimmick, but it was a moment that stood out compared to the rest of the movies. But if you're looking at the Avengers movie at the end during the world's being invaded by these horrible people, there's a nuke flying, all the jokes that are cracked. Age of Ultron, with Hawkeye and all the jokes that are being cracked when they're fighting and they're going to drop the freaking city and destroy the planet. When you look at all of these Marvel movies leading up to this horrible impending doom, there's always some level of ha-ha involved in it until you get to Endgame and Infinity War with the snap. That I give you. But if you look at a predecessor, even Ragnarok at the end with, I saw you coming. Oh, I know you did, between Loki and Hemdall and all these different things. It's always led up to, there's always some level of major humor going into this moment that's supposed to be like, there's a real good chance the world's going to end. We're really going to throw this many jokes into it. I just think that Endgame and Infinity War, I give you that, but I think that if you take a majority of Marvel movies, there's a lot more humor, especially with Whedon type movies, like with the Avengers, thrown into it during what should be more serious type moments compared to what we see with DC movies.
Well, I think with DC though, they shape-shifted through the whole thing, which is why we got the Snyder Cut. Because when Snyder first took over the helm from Christopher Nolan, we got the Man of Steel, and that was very serious.
Yeah.
He tried to do the same thing with Batman versus Superman.
Wonder Woman 1 was at the very end when he's flying up, she's having that fight scene.
Well, Wonder Woman 1 is what got them to switch Justice League, because Wonder Woman 1 had a lighter tone. It wasn't jokey, but it had a lighter tone, and so they wanted to shift focus.
It did. The end was a lot more serious. It was a lot lighter compared to other DC movies, but still had a more serious tone than you would see in a lot of Marvel movies.
Right. But all I'm saying is DC didn't know what their identity was. They should have stuck with one thing and kept going, but they didn't. Yeah. But yeah,
that was just a.
We'll get just a point. No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, just a point someone else made. It was someone else making it, and just something I brought up. And again, I'm not. I kind of concurred because I saw what they were saying, but I have other than what I've given you. That's all I got. I got no more foundation to.
Oh no! I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I feel like Marvel's done a good job with the balance. Obviously, DC has been darker, and I'm fine with that. And honestly, I watched DC for the darker. I thought Wonder Woman 2 was not good.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, for lots of reasons, but I didn't like the tone. I didn't like the feel. It just felt weird. And like, to me, like Thor Ragnarok felt probably the most jokey of any Marvel movie. Like, now I liked it,
which is one of my favorites, by the way, which is amusing because Ragnarok is arguably one of my favorite Marvel movies. It's definitely a top 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great movie. I'm not taking shots, but that one to me feels like the huge action moments all felt like it had that. But I go all the way back to, I'm a massive Lord of the Rings guy, and there's humor throughout Lord of the Rings too. Obviously, there's seriousness, but you get so many instances of that while there's still major things going on. You always have that undercurrent of humor, and I think it's smart because you're keeping the audience, like, you're not on the edge of your seat for 3 hours. You get a few seconds to let yourself down, and then build it back up. So I don't know, but I dig the DC and I like the dark stuff. Like, bring on the dark.
So what's up with this news about the Sony, the PlayStation game? Because I'm jealous that Xbox doesn't have it.
Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm sorry if I butchered that name. I believe I got it right. So basically, it's a video game set in feudal Japan. Don't quote me on it because it's been a while. It's sold 6 million copies. It's exclusive to the PlayStation, and I'm sure PC will get it eventually with Sony's stuff they're doing. But they just announced that they have signed the rights to make a movie. I don't remember the guy's name, but it's going to be directed by the guy who does John Wick.
Chris something. Yes. But he like you said, he directed John Wick. So those action guys are basically going to be doing it, which, if you look at the John Wick movies, it has a bunch of martial arts type styles in it. So, excuse me. So it should be amazing. I'm excited about it. I just need to see the casting, obviously.
Yeah, obviously casting's going to be a huge part. But think like, feudal Japan, samurais. Like the video game is one of the most gorgeous things I've ever played. Like just the cinema. It's not cinematography in video games, but just the views. The setup. It's an open world game. It's a really, really good game if you haven't tried it. But I mean, one of the most beautiful things set up. The fighting is amazing. So if they can take that style and convert that into film, which we've had some amazing samurai films. So, but then you throw in the John Wick, with the way they do those action sequences, like, I mean, it has so much potential. Sony's starting it off right. They hired the right people, I think. So there's a lot of potential for the fights and things like that. Cinematography, it could be gorgeous. So, and I know the place where it's Tsushima, the place where it's actually like based around. I know they're really excited about it. Not the movie, but the game. So I don't know if it'll be filmed on location, but that would make it really, really cool.
Now, with the game, did you? And I was checking a message. Did you say that this was going to be done in a first-person shooter? Is this a third-person game? Are we looking at an RPG?
The game is not an RPG. It's an open world.
Third person.
Yeah, it's third person.
Think about like GTA or think about Jedi Fallen Order. It's kind of that style.
Yes,
Assassin's Creed or Fallen Order.
Yeah, and so it's all samurai, but it's kind of got an Assassin's Creed feel with it's an open map, and you'll see like question marks and stuff. You can go up to them and interact with stuff, those sorts of things, and you can go attack forts and different stuff. It's really, really well done. The story's amazing too.
See, like I said, since I don't own a PlayStation and I can't get it for Xbox, I did pick up Monster Hunter Rise, which comes out tomorrow on the Switch, and it kind of looks like it. I know it's not, but I'm saying it gives me that feel of it. Oh, that or it's like Samurai Showdown,
yep.
Samurai Showdown, something like that. It kind of has that feel. Ninja Gaiden,
So yeah, Ninja Gaiden's probably a good one. I'm really excited. Obviously Sony's really putting the money into the movie stuff. We have The Last of Us coming too. They're already in development on a TV series with HBO. So I like where Sony's headed with this stuff. Again, it all boils down to, what actors they put in place and do they do it right. So I think they're starting off right with the director. We have the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland and I don't remember his name.
Pedro Pascal.
No, he's not.
No, he's not in that. He's
in Last of Us.
Yeah.
It's who's the guy? Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah,
Mark Wahlberg. So Mark Wahlberg plays Sully. I'm excited for it. I know this is kind of off topic. I'm sorry. We're just talking about Sony and the movie stuff, but Sony's really, they're big franchises. They really seem to be putting money into the movie section. So I'm hoping they keep it up.
Well, speaking of movies, we got news that Disney finally caved. Black Widow is going to be out in July of this year, and it's actually going to be on streaming and coming out in the theater. So I guess they finally looked at their slate and was like, listen, we got to get Black Widow out because of the fact we don't know how Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to end, because it's supposed to tie into 3 different movies. So there must be some information in there that we're going to need for further movies. You know how they have things lined up. Brian, what's your thoughts on that?
That's good. It's going to be good for those people that don't have theaters open yet. I was hearing news that they're starting to open a lot of things back up now. New York is hoping to have like Broadway or something open up, I think, by September. So it's still got a long ways for a lot of different public venues and stuff. So places that are especially highly populated or still quarantining because of an outbreak or whatever. So I'm glad that those people are not going to miss out on seeing the movie because they can see it on stream. I like the idea that I can choose, hey, do I want to watch this on stream? Or if by then the theaters are open, do I want to go and finally go back to a movie theater and see it in the theater? So I got the option to do that, which is great. So I love that we can kind of choose if we have theaters open, obviously we can kind of choose between the two. I think it's going to throw sales off of the movie a little bit. So it's going to be hard to justify how well it did box office based, because you're not going to see that kind of thing.
Well, they kind of are, because they're doing the $30 model for Disney Plus.
So you're still going to have to pay within Disney Plus to be able to see it.
It's the premium. That's kind of what they did with Aladdin and what they did with the Raya movie. So it's $30 premium.
I see. Gotcha. Because I've got the Disney Plus, but I've never used the premium at this point. So
it's just basically it'll pop up on there, like just like if you were to purchase like on Amazon or something like that. Because what happens is once you hit purchase, it'll take you to like a third party, like either Amazon or something like that. So
I see. I got you. Well, that'll give them a good gauge on numbers. But I like there's options. I like there's choices, and I like that if I want to go to the theater, I can pay the $10, $12 for a movie ticket if it's just going to be me and not have to pay $30 for me to watch it if my kids don't want to watch it. My wife and I will want to watch it, but
Yeah.
the kids aren't quite at that stage yet. They're
Well, I think part of it, the reason why they probably decided to do it is because of the fact, like, Milan did not do well with the $30 model. I purchased it. I thought the movie was fine. I didn't really have a gauge on the cartoon version of the movie, so it was fine to me. But numbers wise, it didn't do that well. But I'm assuming Raya must have did well for them to decide to bring Black Widow out. What are your thoughts on it there, Laura Wizard?
I mean, I think it's smart. You can't keep delaying the movie. At some point, people are going to get sick of it. And I don't know if it's too late now. Like, I mean, obviously, you're going to get your Marvel fans and stuff like that, but this movie has been delayed so many times. Like, I mean, is there hype left for it? I mean, that's my big thing is if you're going to do this, why didn't you do this last year? You know, when in the middle of the pandemic, when people are stuck at home, like it seems to me, if you were going to make this model, then just release it to where you can pay for it. Obviously, they're going to get some revenue from the theater since they are opening back up. I think pushing it to July is smart because you know the more vaccines you get out there, the more potential you have for people showing up in theaters. So if you're going to do it, this is probably the best case scenario. You're going to get some money from the theaters. You won't get anything near like you would have gotten pre-2020, but you know I think it'll make enough in theaters and probably enough in this to justify it. And this is a model they seem to be going to because they announced that Gorilla is going to be the same way, correct?
Yeah, it is. But I think part of it too, though, when you look at right now, this is the landscape for all movies. It's not like it's just for Disney.
Right.
I think they were just trying to pay respect to, you know, Scarlett Johansson, the fact that she has been in Marvel for this long. She hadn't had her own solo movie and they wanted it released in theaters. Yeah. It's a super girl power movie, one of their biggest stars. So I'm sure they were trying to pay respect to her, but at the end of the day, like I'm saying, it's one of those things you have to move forward because of the story.
Yep. Yeah, you can't keep delaying it. Like, because if like you said, if this does have consequences or effects that we're going to see in the other shows and stuff, then if you keep delaying this movie, you're going to have to start delaying stuff that's supposed to be coming on Disney Plus, and Disney Plus is the only thing making money right now. So you know you can't mess up the Disney Plus pipeline. So you know, if there are things in this that are going to tie into the coming movies and stuff like that, then you got to get it out. Then you got to get it done. And I think it's a great idea because, I mean, honestly, I mean, my family personally, we haven't gone to the theater, not for any particular reason. You know, we were sporadic before the pandemic, and you know, post pandemic, we just haven't been back. And so I don't know, like having the option, it's a movie that I'm going to see either in theaters or this is probably the one I'd be willing to pay $30 for and watch at home. So I think it's smart to give us the option. You know, if my wife and kids don't want to go to the theater, then I'll pay $30 and watch this one. So
yeah, especially for people who have families, it could be much cheaper to do the $30. But I think people just want to get out; they want to go back to the theater. So either way, it's a great option. We have the option to be able to do both. So I think at the end of the day, it's gonna make fans happy. It's gonna get people excited. I mean, as you can see from the response of even Falcon Winter Soldier, people are dying to have the Marvel stuff going on. So even with the response with WandaVision. So with that, let's get into Falcon Winter Soldier. What's the first thoughts?
Amazing. I mean, just from the get-go, I'll just jump in. From the get-go, like a lot more action to start. A much faster pace, it felt like to me. And I don't want to compare directly to WandaVision because it's two completely different things and two completely different feels. But just from sitting down and watching it, I love the longer episodes. Like I like that it feels more like, you know, a good chunk of time. And, you know, it felt like it was a little longer to me. I love the setup with the story and stuff. And it was really cool to me. Like, and I won't deep dive into it because I don't want to steal anything from anyone else. But you know, you see the character go into the bank, and you know he's trying to get a loan with his family, and then the guy's just asking him questions, and it's little things that you would never think of. But like, you know, he hasn't had a job in 5 years because he got blipped. So he's like, well, you don't have any credit for the last 5 years. Well, dude, I've been gone. And then he starts talking to him about income, and we find out the Avengers weren't getting paid, and it's just, I mean, things like this, like it's stuff that I love, and the action sequences felt like they did in the movie. Like it didn't feel cheap. It didn't feel downgraded to me. It felt like something we would see in a movie. which I really liked. And I love this. You know, I was worried about how like him flying and stuff would go. Like, is it going to have the budget of one of the Marvel movies? Is it going to look as good? And, you know, we see it when I mean, right off the bat, you know, he goes in an airplane. That whole sequence was well done. Like, I was really excited, and it just makes me more excited for the next 5 episodes or 6 episodes. I forget how many we're getting.
We got 5 more.
God, it's depressing. We need more. Like, we need more. The new Captain America, 2 thumbs down. 2 thumbs down. Like, I didn't even know who the guy was, but he looked, no offense to the actor, in case he ever sees this, but he looked like a goober, man. Like,
he knew that on purpose though. Like he knew.
Yeah.
He even said that the actor came out and said, like, look, man, y'all don't kill me too hard. Like, but the thing is that that's exactly what they wanted. And
they succeeded.
Yeah. So I think they did a good job with that. Brian, what you think, bro?
I loved it. I was really excited about the whole show, and it didn't disappoint by any means. The story was phenomenal. I'm story driven. Cinematics were amazing. Yeah, I'm glad Captain No Chin knew that he was going to get ripped because his head looked funny in that Cap helmet. He's got the goofy ears, and his head looks funky, elongated, and it was really weird looking. You know, but I want to see how I'm interested to see how his character is going to react. If he's going to be just a simple yes man, if he's actually going to try and have a little bit of independence as far as his personality goes. If he's just going to be robotic, I want to see how they go with this character. I'm interested to see how he's going to impact the story or mess things up or get in the way, trying to be, do his thing. And I'm just interested to see how they're going to do that. I like how they didn't immediately put Bucky and Sam together. They're going to move into that, and they didn't immediately go right out the gate and go, oh, we're going to go together. It's like you haven't been talking, you haven't been replying to Sam's messages. You've been avoiding him. I like what they're doing with Winter Soldier as far as having to live with his past and the fact that leading into finding out that his friend he's talking to, he took his son out, and and him having to live with that and deal with that and how he's going to react to that.
Not well.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even immediately catch it. Like, I just really wasn't expecting them to use that same trope that they used in Civil War, where you see something in the beginning and then it goes to the end and you find that out. But I thought I would be a little more upset. Like, it did get me. I liked it. It was pretty good. I think then I flipped and was like, maybe this is Bucky's story where he's going to meet more and more people of people that he's killed their relatives and loved ones. Got to deal with that, and that's where his nightmares are coming from. But go ahead and finish your point.
Right. Well, and to my credit, because I usually can speculate, but I usually do quickly miss little things like that because I'm usually watching something else like videography or whatever. I did catch that when they were sitting there and the old man was looking at the green. Was that rice green? It was the food there. Yeah. It was the food there, and talking about his son, wrong place, wrong time. And I immediately said, I bet you that's that kid that he just had that nightmare about. I bet you that's the kid he just had the nightmare about. Wrong place, wrong time. He was talking about the kid was talking about studying for a test, and it was like, it just clicked. And I'm like, dang. So the whole rest of the episode, I was watching that lead up to it's going to get more and more unpleasant, more tense. And it did. So I'm interested to see how that's going to continue. Boy, Sam kicked ass in that plane sequence.
Dude.
The way he was using his wings as the shield, how fast they were moving hydraulically in it, the quick thinking on it was the whole sequence was awesome, and I love the humanity they're bringing into it with, like you said, going to the bank, trying to get the loan, the underlying questions. This scumbag bank guy was like, oh, I'm a big fan. And and he keeps asking these questions. And after a minute of realizing, oh, he's not just being questioning, he's being a slime ball and trying to weasel his information about the loan. It's all about the loan. And it's a banker is a banker. And he's trying to get the information about that. So,
but he's also fanboying too.
Yeah. How about hey, I'm not going to give you any money, but can I get a selfie?
Right.
Come on.
Yeah. It's one of those things where he's geeking out, but at the same time he can't get rid of the banker in him, so that's interesting, that dynamic, and that I like what they're doing. We got Hawkeye's family in the story for a long time. We haven't really got a whole lot with other families per se, like this level of families. Like
Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye, his family, his kids and his wife, and in the not in this story. I'm talking about in the other Marvel movies. We got
Oh, okay. I was
we
like,
got we got
I don't know what you're
backstory
watching.
we got backstory with Hawkeye's family in the other movies, but we haven't really got that deep into other families, like extended families with any other character. And now we're seeing it with Sam, and I really like that. I really like that they're going, because it really grounds the movies. It grounds the show.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think I like the fact of how much colorism they're playing into this as well. You know, when you look at like his sister's like, oh, is it because we're black that we don't get to get this loan or whatever the case may be? Like, I like the fact that Marvel is diving into that. I think which is part of what we talked about even when we didn't see the show, which was, you know, the trope of people having an issue with Sam being Captain America. And so the other thing is that I wonder if the character that is playing the new Captain America, if he is a super soldier or if he's just a figure piece, because we saw that the villain, the one that stomped out Sam's friend, he was a super soldier, which also leads me to the fact of wondering if Sam eventually will be a super soldier. So I'm wondering about that. Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think he's a super soldier. Because I think to me it would cheapen Captain America, like the mystique of Steve Rogers. Like if they found a way to duplicate that process, I'm hoping he's not a super soldier. So I'm hoping we don't go that route with him. I'm hoping they just took like a strong Marine or something and threw him in the suit, and they're hoping he can do some of the same stuff. Or maybe it's some sort of like exoskeleton or something. I could live with that, but I'm really hoping it wasn't like, oh, we've suddenly perfected the serum, we just haven't used it until we needed to replace Captain America. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it's not that, but it could be. Obviously, it could be. And I dig the family stuff. Like, I like that we get to see what they're like every day. Like, kind of what Brown talked about. I love that. We get to see him with his therapist, and it's part of his pardon. Like, that stuff to me got me. Like, that's really cool, man. Like, he's killed thousands of people, and he's struggling with it. I love that we get to see this. So that's what I like about these series that we're getting now, is we get such a deep dive. You'd never see this in a movie. I mean, maybe a 30-second clip, but you'd never get this involved. So it gets me excited.
Yeah, because this feels basically like just a long Captain America movie. The thing is when you said about the super serum, it is interesting because the guy at the beginning that took the shield was like, you made the right decision. And obviously Rhodey was not happy with Sam for giving up the shield, because I don't think that he talked to anybody, because Rhodey looks like extremely surprised and caught off guard when they had their private conversation. So I'm just wondering, obviously, like Brown, we had a conversation and he was saying we see that he eventually has the shield again. So how he gets it and what took place, and does he beat the crap out of new Captain America? Which
can't wait till he does.
I'm honestly not looking forward to it because of the fact it's only 6 episodes. I want to just enjoy the ride and just watch whatever is presented and not speculate, because that's what happened with people in WandaVision. They speculated so hard to their tiny little brains popped at the finale because Mephisto never showed up. Cry me a river.
Dude, I hope he beats him down and takes the shield. Like, that's what I'm here for. Beat him down and take the shield back.
Absolutely.
Especially if he's not a super soldier. Like,
depends on how dark they go. He goes out, gets in over his head, doesn't make it out, and then he has to step up because people aren't making it. That would go dark. It depends, but we're not going to speculate because WandaVision taught everyone a lesson about speculation.
Oh no, it's fine to speculate. I'm just saying the thing is we're speculating off of having no lore to kind of look at. Like, I haven't read any of the Falcon Winter Soldier comic books where Bucky had the shield, or even when Sam had the shield. So this is speculation off of what we're seeing on screen. So I think that's safe. I think with WandaVision, like I said, nobody knew who. If nobody would have ever mentioned Mephisto, we would have never even speculated that was it, and we would just been in the dark, like, well, what is going on? Nobody ever would have brought a Mephisto, so we would just enjoyed what we had, and that's it. So I think that's the difference with this one.
Now, you say that with WandaVision, but Marvel kind of had their own, Marvel did their own parts to build that, putting the little skeleton and the number two and the previews in the house. Like
But
Marvel built some
again,
speculation.
But again, if nobody would have said anything about Mephisto in the beginning, what I'm saying, the people that knew the backstory, if nobody would have ever said anything about it, the skeleton would have meant nothing to me. The number two would have meant nothing to me.
Okay.
It was only there because other people said, oh, well, this means because of this, and this bone, and oh, in the corner there was a cat head, and
they're reading the watches. Yeah.
Look, the color yellow is over here. That means it's Mephisto. Like that. No, that's different.
There was something with the color of the roses in front of another house. Like, dude, there was some serious tinfoil hat stuff with, and I loved it.
Yeah, there was. Oh, there absolutely was. And I bought into it to a certain extent after I did all the research and stuff like that. And when it was all said and done, it was one thing like, oh, I guess they're not going to really bring in a baddie per se. So
Wanda was the bad guy. I loved it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, they showed us at the end when she force choked everybody at the end that she was really the villain.
Right.
Which, I mean, say what you want, but Darth Vader only ever choked one person at a time, guys.
Hey, we already saw that Wanda's got some strong powers because she was studying and being herself at the exact same time, and the Sorcerer Supreme can't even do that.
I'm here for wherever they go with her character. I want more of that actress.
They're already filming, so
bring it on.
We take a minute to talk about, is it Fabricio's, I don't know, a shout out or something like, I'm not sure what the person in the comments put Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. I'm wondering if that's a shout out from.
I just think it means we're international. The Marauders Nerd Podcast is literally international.
I'm just saying, is that a shout out from Brazil? Because I mean, if it's a shout out from Brazil, I'm all about it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not sure who's in that profile picture, but that's a manly man.
Hey.
That looks like, to me, it's like a Ludwig Beethoven or a Bach or a Mozart. I can't because it's so small, but that looks like a classical.
I'm jealous.
It looks like a composer to me.
I'm
Put
jealous.
it in the comments. Tell me who that person, that little tiny picture is. I bet it's a composer.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like I said, man, we keeping our foot on the pedal right here, and we are doing a quick transition into the Snyderverse, or the Justice League Snyder Cut.
Please let it be the Snyderverse.
4 hours of fun.
So how did the movie go, Brian? Like, what was your thoughts?
I loved it. So again, I was one of the ones that watched the Whedon version. It was, again, for me, it was one of those ones that I watched it and I was like, okay, it's entertaining, I guess. I didn't have anything really negative to say about it. I'm like, I wasn't thrilled with it, but I didn't really have anything to just crap all over it. I was like, but for me, it was all about rewatchability. I love movies that you can rewatch again and again and again and really savor and enjoy what you're watching. And then there's sometimes you watch superhero movies or other kind of movies where you're like, yeah, okay, I saw it. I probably won't ever see it again. And that's kind of how it was with Justice League. But I could watch this Snyder Cut 4 hours deep, don't care, over and over and over again, because the storyline was so much more, so much deeper, and just so much better. Better overall, as far as everything, what's the word I'm looking for? Starts with a C. Everything was much more conducive. Everything was so much more
cohesive.
Thank you. Cohesive. It was so much more cohesive. Don't you smile at me like that. Cohesive.
I was thinking connected. So
yeah,
cohesive.
So connected. The connectability to the story, like how cohesive the story was.
Yeah, don't ask me to spell it, but cohesive. It was just so good, and I love. For me, it's like, and not to go off on a weird thing here, but it's like comparing to me. It's like comparing the Harry Potter novels versus the Harry Potter movies. The movies for a long time were really good, but you're only getting about 15% of the story, and it's like hearing the story from your friend's uncle who was there, and you're getting just a fraction of what happened. Whereas the novels, you're getting so much deeper and so much more lore and so much more in depth in the story. And that's what it was here. Whedon, it's like our Harry Potter movies was the Whedon cut. It's just a small fraction of what was happening. And with Zack Snyder's version, you're getting so much more about what the characters were about, their backstories, how much more involved they were. It just was so much more depth that it drew me in. And I A+ if you're comparing the two, for sure.
That's what's up. What about you, Lord Wizard? What'd you think?
So I did not like the first one at all. Was not a fan. With this one, I was a little worried because it's 4 hours, and that's a lot of movie. Like, I mean, really, the only thing that's 4 hours long that I've watched repeatedly is Lord of the Rings, and the extended editions. So I went in kind of excited, but like indifferent, and I was blown away. Like, honestly, from the beginning, I thought it was so much better. I loved the depth. Like, it was just so much more build up, like him building the team, and with each character, especially Cyborg. Like, I don't even think we saw Cyborg in the other version, and with this one, it felt like he was an actual character, and I loved his backstory. I thought it was really cool. Obviously, it's a little generic, but I mean, it's a movie and it's based off a comic book, so there's going to be some generic stuff. But his backstory was awesome to me. Like, what his dad did to basically turn him in, and then
Right.
and then we see a lot of like how he felt about his dad and like the hate and the anger and stuff, like
Mhm.
and the disgust, like you turned me into a monster. Like, I think Cyborg to me was my favorite backstory out of
He was
all
my
of them.
favorite character. Yep. He
Yeah, I
was.
mean, it's so well done, and like honestly, in the first movie, he was an afterthought to me. Like, I was like, oh, cool character, but I like the Teen Titans version of Cyborg better. I just being honest. But this one, like, I would watch another movie with that character, or if they were smart, they would get that actor back, which I don't think is possible. They would get that actor back. Is
Possible.
it?
And that's what I was actually going to comment on. I was going to say the biggest thing for me, you cannot watch this movie and not respect the claims that he brought towards Josh Whedon.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but when you look at this film, it's almost like this, right? Imagine if all three of us made it into a movie, right? And we are telling our friends, yo, the Marauders have made it, y'all. We are in the new Justice League movie. It's gonna be so crazy. Wait till you see it. And then the movie comes out and all three of our parts are cut out.
Yeah.
And so the thing is that they couldn't completely cut his character out because obviously he's a part of the Justice League, but all of his backstory was his parents, his mom wasn't even in the movie. His dad barely had anything to do with the movie. Martian Manhunter wasn't in the movie. We didn't oh my gosh, the Asian dude that was playing
The doctor's assistant.
yeah, but he's Adam in the movie. He's Adam. He's gonna eventually be Adam. He wasn't in the movie. So it's like all of these different characters and people of color that weren't in the movie. And then I know you guys respect. I mean, Wonder Woman obviously is gorgeous and beautiful to look at. You can see her peeking through me and Lord
That's
Wizard.
why we have this background specifically because of her.
We didn't have all of the ass shots and all of the we didn't have the traditional what's my boy that does Transformers?
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. We didn't have the traditional Michael Bay shots of women with this particular version. We got to see a strong, positive female character without necessarily, I mean, obviously the outfit she's wearing
sexualizing it
is ridiculous.
Exactly. So the thing is that you cannot watch this movie and not feel those claims, but it is possible to get him back as long as Zack Snyder is if they are. He even tweeted out, bring back the Snyderverse. And the thing is, and now I already know their director already came out and said, hey, that was it.
Thumbs down.
He got his trilogy, Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Snyder Justice League. So that's his trilogy. That's it. But I think that, and they also already said that you're not getting an errors cut of the Suicide Squad. So I think that we don't know what happens because I mean this was the best that Ben Affleck looked. This is the best that Henry Cavill looked.
Best.
You know what I'm saying? And then of course Ray Fisher, and then even Ezra Miller, which they still haven't commented on what that whole video with that girl was about. So, the thing is we got to enjoy this. And for people that's complaining about the 4 hours and saying, well, of course it was better because he got to make it 4 hours. No, listen. It's a streaming service. It's broken into chapters for you. Mm-hmm. You can watch it. And most people that I spoke to, when they were like, yeah, I'm probably just going to watch like an hour at a time, I was like, okay, sure you are. I'm telling you to be invested. And so, yeah. And so it was one of those things. I think here's the biggest surprise, even more. I ain't gonna say more so than Cyborg, but doggone, this was my favorite villain for DC. Steppenwolf.
He was
Steppenwolf
good.
was fleshed out. I knew why he was trying to do what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was a soldier. I like that he was actually in the fight when all of the Amazons shot him with the arrows, and he just kind of did that little flinch thing, and his armor like broke him off. I mean, and then the reverence that he had for Darkseid when Darkseid came and he took all of the armor off.
Mhm.
Like, I like how dark it was. I mean, when they threw one of the people up against the rock and his head was bleeding, like, you know, they did it tastefully. I mean, even when he got his head cut off, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then Darkseid just squished his head like a grape, like the whole thing. And I loved how strong Superman looked. Like, he was just super strong, bro. Like,
He was Superman.
yeah, you swing at him. I mean, you think even when Wonder Woman does her little clash, and he just was like, and of course, even though we saw it, this is the other thing. Most of the shots that I liked from the 2017 version were Zack Snyder shots. So even the shot where the Flash is running and Superman kind of turns,
Dude,
and
that
looks
look.
yeah, it was crazy, man. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I think, like I said, how fleshed out the villain was, because typically the best villains are the ones that you can sympathize with,
relate to, yeah.
direction. So go ahead.
Didn't feel like, well, I was gonna say, because you were talking about 4 hours and everybody's complaining about 4 hours. Didn't feel like 4 hours to me. It went by so fast. I was bummed out, but I was like, was that really 4 hours? Like, it went by so fast.
I've seen it twice because I watched it by myself, and watching it by myself, I watched it at work, and it probably took me 6 hours to get through it just because I'm working. So I paused it and did stuff, but I still finished it. But then I watched it again with Sarah, and I was pretty impressed with how much she was really into it. Like, I tried to put on Falcon Winter Soldier. She's like, I do not want to see this. I want to see Justice League. So we had to finish it.
The most excited I've been for a DC movie after I started it, like, couple things that, like, going forward for me. One, good luck JJ Abrams, because you're not going to find a better Superman, period. Henry Cavill, is it Cavill?
Cavill.
I always call him wrong. Henry Cavill is hands down the Superman. Like, I mean, just his expressions, his build, like, dude, he is Superman. And I mean, I'm a huge fan of this Superman and Lois Lane. Like, I mean, I like the Superman movie, and I mean, he just, watching this and like seeing his portrayal of Superman, like, good luck, JJ. Like, you're basically going to have to recast Luke again. Like, this isn't going to work.
Right.
It's not going to work.
It's like Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr. You can't see any other real. I mean, you could probably have a few actors, but it's like, he is Iron Man. He is the character, and you can't really see a lot of actors stepping up to play that role. It's the same thing with Henry Cavill.
There is no reason. I will die on this hill. There is no reason to recast this damn character. Like, whoever is in charge of DC, like, you're screwed up. You're gonna screw up, and your next Superman is not gonna live up to Cavill. Is not.
Well, we said that too when it came to Joker. Of course, you know, the passing of Heath Ledger, and then we got this Joaquin Phoenix version, and people were like, I don't like the way the makeup looks. This looks terrible. And it was an incredible movie.
I mean,
it was, but I think it was, I really think, I mean, comparing the cinematic Heath Ledger's Joker versus the real gritty version of the Joker, I personally feel like that's kind of apples and oranges, because that's such a side.
Yeah,
like,
but
throw him in a Batman movie and let's see how he does.
But that's the thing, though. We don't know what they're doing with Superman, because again, we're not doing the Snyder version of Superman. That story is dead. So the fact is, we don't know what they're doing. Just like with the Batman, we don't know what Robert Pattinson's doing. Even though I just seen him in Tenet and he was incredible, so I can't wait to see it. But all I'm saying is that when people, I didn't even think Christian Bale was going to be a good Batman, and I thought he was great.
He was great.
So the thing is that I have to give them the benefit of the doubt to see what story that they're telling. But obviously, if they were going to continue the Snyderverse, obviously I would want Henry Cavill, because he's my Superman.
Yeah.
Right. Listen, DC needs to, DC reps. I hope they're watching this. I hope we have that kind of audience. Okay. They're watching our podcast. Take a step back for a minute and realize what you have here. You have an opportunity, because the Snyder Cut comes out. It's received. You have to even look at this and go, God, compared to what we released on the Whedon, version, this is so much more something that we can build our universe around and continue on from here. They really need to take a step back and go, we need to rethink our business strategy instead of trying to emulate Marvel or trying all this, we're going to switch it up. We're going to recap, blah, blah. No, you need to pay the actors what you want to pay them, grit your teeth, admit you were wrong, and continue on with this storyline in the Snyderverse and continue with this version of the Justice League with all your additional movies and everything, because you could get you get Henry Cavill back because Schneider's the one going to be looking to direct it. Maybe they're cool with that. Cyborg, okay, we're going to get the Schneider version of this. I'm on board because he does my character correctly. Ben Affleck might, hey, I like the way this one was done. And he, I think they have an opportunity to stop worrying about we need to copy Marvel and do what Marvel's doing because that's so successful. No, what you have here is a golden egg that Zack Snyder has handed you that you can take and run with from here and literally branch away from Marvel's pyramid or phases or whatever, and have your own version of phases off of this movie because it works.
We see that. I think that they could do that definitely for the HBO Max. Just have that as a series on HBO Max, the Snyder version of stuff. But at the same time, they have new leadership. There's a reason why the leadership was replaced, and their new step is to just do individual movies until they can, until they decide to do something different. I think that's the model that's actually working for them right now. But I do think that, fans won this one. We won with Sonic and we won with getting the Snyder version. So who knows what else we're going to be capable of doing. But for right now, this movie I thought was incredible. What did you guys think of the epilogue?
I liked it, but I liked it, but I didn't like it because I liked it. I liked it a lot, but it was also one of those things where it's like, yeah, there's such a great wrap up to the movie, and then you come along with this, and it's like, even though you set things right, it felt like you set things right with the Justice League cinematic universe in this movie, and then just to derail it and go, yeah, well, everything's set right in the world for you, but it's still going to go to hell regardless. And so I don't know. It kind of threw me for a loop because I was wondering when I was going to see that. You see it in the trailers, the pushes, the little snippets that are released, and I'm like, and I finally got to the end of the movie, and I'm like, where's this apocalyptic scene we were supposed to see? And then they threw it in at the very end, and I was like, oh, that's the direction they're going to go with. And I was like, but are they going to go with it because they said after this, Snyder's over? So is it just a waste of our time?
No, it's not. What it is that Zack Snyder is an incredible genius who knows how to market stuff. The same way that he did. The reason why we got the Snyder version is it all started with him just posting pictures.
Yep.
Just random pictures. And people are like, yo, what's this picture of? This is from my movie. What do you mean? Your movie we saw it. No, you didn't. You didn't see my movie. You saw their movie. This is from my movie. That's how it all started. So the thing is that you get this nightmare sequence, which I sent you that video of the people that kind of explaining it. But you get this video. So now you get this. Now you're like, yo, how does Joker fit in this? And yo, why is you just saw Deathstroke talking about killing Batman? Now he's rolling with him, and Wonder Woman died, and Darkseid just killed Aquaman. Like, they talking about Robin and Harley Quinn, and now he got this card and it's a truce. Like, I need to know what happens. But basically, when Zack Snyder, they told him, like, listen, this is it, bro. You got whatever you want to do. That's it. So I think he was giving us what was going to be in 2 and 3 because he was setting them up. Which one of the lines that I loved is Joker was like, it's amazing how we are all we're in all these different multiverses, but the one version that we never got is you dying. I thought that was amazing. Like, you the reason why this whole thing is all jacked up, because you're the mainstay in all of these different realities of the world. Joker, I thought Joker was great. I mean, yes, he did have a little Heath Ledger to him, but I still liked this version of Joker. He still was deranged and crazy, and they still had to
I love it compared to his slick back Tech 9, look in the other movies. I dug the hell out of the creepiness because that's what Joker is he feeds off Batman. He has to have Batman. That's what makes him exist.
Yeah,
and,
he doesn't exist without Batman.
Yeah, and without Batman, you've seen it in the animated series, you've seen it in the comic books. When Batman's allegedly gone, the Joker falls apart because that's what makes him tick. I have to have Batman. He is my yin to my yang. And the fact that they were playing off each other, and even though the world's ending, he still has to like just throw those jabs in there just to get under Batman's skin, just to mess with him. Because even though the world's going to hell, Joker don't care. To him, this is all just fun. It's just a fun, whatever happens moment. As long as he's getting Batman to turn dark, that's what he wants. That's his goal.
Yeah, because listen, I will effing kill you. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I think the epilogue was brilliant because, in my opinion, DC made a huge mistake. Just in my personal opinion, they made a huge mistake by letting Zack Snyder make the Snyder Cut. One, it's universally acclaimed. Critics, fans, DC doesn't have very many films that are universally acclaimed that everybody wants more of. So DC's like, oh, we'll go ahead, we'll cave to the fans, we'll let him make it. So he makes it, right? And they tell him, like, this is your shot, get your 4 hours, we're not doing this again. And then he's like, okay, sure. So what does he do? He gives us a peek of where he was headed. And even now he's still tweeting little snippets of where he was going. So you gave us this, and everybody sees the potential, and everybody sees this, and they love it. And it's better than anything else that they've put out there, period. It's amazing. And then DC's like, oh, it's not canon. We're not going with it. It's not the future, and he's done. You've already caved to the fans once. If you think this is going to shut up your audience, no. The man knocked it out of the park. And Snyder's just like, here's a little tiny taste of where we're headed. And guess what? Now you're going to put out whatever you put out next is going to get compared to this. And they are going to get crucified if it's not good. And I think eventually, because Snyder's not going to stop. We're going to keep seeing tweets. We're going to keep hearing little snippets about where he was headed. And I mean, these actors want to come back for it. They want to work for him. Like, I think at some point, even if it's like Ace said, even if it's just something we see on HBO, like, I think DC is going to cave again. You've already shown the fans you'll cave once. Like, you just start hammering them, man.
That's why I said DC. That's why I was saying DC has an opportunity. They have to try and save face early and go, we need to jump on this and just admit we were wrong. And I know that, but they need to admit they were wrong.
Yeah. Well, I think they did admit they were wrong by giving him this version of the movie. I mean, they believed in it. They gave him $70 million to fix this film. And I mean, we look at how they, the look of Steppenwolf, he didn't look as human as the last version, which was great. And they shot out 11 minutes more of footage. And the
voice changes, the gravelly nature of Steppenwolf's voice change, Cyborg's voice change. I think I think Batman even had a little bit of difference in his voice modulator. It just was so much more gritty. And like I said,
what about the Wonder Woman robbery scene?
Yeah.
She straight up killed like 9 guys, and I'm here for it. Like, when she did the arm thing and the guy literally blew apart, like, guys, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
The other thing too, with this particular version, they gave them the 70 million to fix it. They still at the last minute tried to get him to put more jokes in it, and he was like, "Nope, not doing it. Not doing it." The score was great.
Score was great.
And that scream that you heard across the world of Superman.
Oh, the way they started it, absolutely. Oh my God, that is how you start a freaking movie that's going to be like that, man.
Then they tell you, they tie it in with the mother boxes, like why all of a sudden they woke up, like because they were scared to death.
Scared of Superman. Yes, exactly. It's like that's why they were asleep the whole time, and Superman was keeping the world together, even though he didn't know it, because their boxes were afraid of him. And I mean, because it's a 4-hour movie, I was sitting there watching the Scream scene, and as a videographer, I was like, God, because again, you don't comprehend how long 4 hours is going to be in a movie, because you're right. Unless you're watching Lord of the Rings extended cut or anything like that, 4 hours is crazy time. That's like, longer than Titanic, all these different things. And so I'm like, after about 2 or 3 minutes of the wavy scream across the whole planet, I was like, Jesus, how long are they going to talk about this wavy scream going across. Like, it was forever, but it was so.
What about the creepy songs that the girls were singing when Aquaman went away?
Dude, and she's smelling his sweater. Like,
Yeah,
that's yeah, she's got some attachment issues.
Yeah. So
she's one that's going to keep sending you text messages.
Last question. How did the aspect ratio affect you guys?
Weird for about 2 minutes. And then I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
Didn't bother me a bit. I'm so used with being in service and when I was overseas getting the all the different versions of people getting you DVDs and stuff of knockoffs that are always shot in 4:3 in the crappy versions and done in whoever theaters you see and all that stuff. And so for me, it was like, oh, okay, this is in 4:3, and I was like, it's usually when you see something in 4:3, it looks like trash because it's in the standard TV version. You're watching an old TV show, because I go back and watch old TV shows like Angel, which is a WB series, a spinoff of Buffy, and a lot of those episodes on Netflix, that they're all done in 4:3, and usually you're seeing TV quality. You're like, this looks just horrendous compared to what 16:9 gives you. And I was like, oh, okay, 4:3, that's cool. And I was like, man, it's just so crystal clear for 4:3.
Well, there's actually, and then what he did is he expanded the top of it, at the top and bottom, so that you got more, like when they were all standing on that the ledge and they were shooting the camera up, you could see them standing. And if we would have saw it in IMAX, we would have been able to appreciate it a whole lot more. But yeah, I understand. But I just wanted to know how it affected you, because I know it was a little daunting at first, but then, like you said, once the story got going, it was like, all right, I'm in it. We're good.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
so I need to watch it on a big TV though. I've seen it on the small device, so I need to see if it might impact me more when I watch it on a bigger screen.
I think
I watched it on 55. I got used to it real fast. I didn't notice it. I watched it with my wife. She didn't say anything about it, and she's, she doesn't follow any of this stuff. So to her, it's just another movie. She didn't say anything about it. So, but I mean, 5 stars. I mean, hands down. Like, give him another movie. He's earned it.
Yeah.
Better than anything else they put out.
I'm not a Zack Snyder fan like that. I definitely enjoyed Man of Steel. Batman versus Superman, not so much.
Not so much.
But I definitely enjoyed the Justice League. I will say, it does have me intrigued to go rewatch Batman versus Superman now. I'm gonna watch the Ultimate Edition. I'm still not gonna like Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal, and I'm not gonna like Doomsday, but or why like. I'm still not going to like all of those tropes, but knowing that I know where the story was going to go, is kind of like what we talked about at church about if we would have got the episode 9 that Colin Trevorrow would have did, it would have had people respect episode 8. For those that didn't like it, it would have had them at least respect it because the connectability that it would have had. But overall, like you said, 5 stars for me. Well, I would say 4.5 stars. I don't say 5 stars, but it definitely was entertaining. I love the event of it. Like, we've been looking forward to this for 2 years, and the day is finally here, and it was incredible. It didn't disappoint.
Lived up to the hype, I think.
Yeah. So go ahead and give us your final thoughts about anything, like what you got going on this week, or anything you want to leave with the people before we get out of here. Lore Wizard, you first, brother.
Another great week. We got the trailer tomorrow. Suicide Squad. Looking forward to that. Obviously, we have the second episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I did start. I have not talked to Ace about this yet, but I did start book 3 of the Alphabet Squadron series. They have changed narrators again. It's back to the female.
Okay.
So it's back to the female, which I believe narrated in 1, correct?
No, the female narrated in the second one.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like the old woman.
I thought it was the man in 2.
No, the man was the first one.
Okay, so then it's the same narrator. And I'm not very far into it, but so far, I got thoughts. So
see, I'm reading Claudia Gray's High Republic right now.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I just so far with no spoilers. I'm just saying, so far, I like how it connects to the other story that we read. That's what I like. So
and the young one connects too. I'll be fast. All 3 books that I've read in that so far, they all connect, and you get the little tie-ins of like, oh, I know that character from the other book, and he's out here doing this, and like so far 2 thumbs up with High Republic. Yeah. So
what about you? What you got going on this week, bro?
I'm I'm probably gonna again watch. I'll probably sit down sometime this weekend when I'm not being driven crazy by the kids, and I'll probably watch the Snyder Cut on the big screen. And then I'm looking forward to Falcon Winter Soldier tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that. I'd be interested to watch the Suicide Squad trailer. This one, since I'm not invested in it, I have no problems watching the trailer because they're. I'm trying to think of something. There's something else that's on the horizon that I have not been watching any trailer stuff for. Mortal Kombat. I have not been watching any trailer stuff on Mortal Kombat because I've seen enough. I don't want any more story. They're like, oh, extra footage is leaking or released on the trailer. And I'm like, I don't want to see it because I want to know what happens in the story completely blind because Mortal Kombat I'm a huge fanboy for. So I want to see it blind, kind of like you did with your Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Suicide Squad I'm not as invested, so I'll gladly watch anything that's going to give me build me a hype around that. So I'm interested to check it out tomorrow. I might do a reaction video for it. Who knows? Now that I know it's coming out, so that's about it for me. I would like to point out that I'm glad that you're safe with that starship battle going on behind you. I want to say how good that looks. Amazing that looks so good. I'm glad that you're safe because that star battle seems pretty intense. It's been going on for about an hour or so.
Yes, my armor that keeps me safe. So my shield deflectors are.
I figured you're cloaked and they don't see you there. You're just observing. I get that, but I just want to say how good that looks.
William's sitting on an active volcano, so I don't know how safe he is right now.
I'm on it's an observation pad on Mustafar right now. I'm currently okay unless one of these volcanoes goes super. I should be fine.
It is Mustafar, so good luck with that.
Yeah. Right. Shout out to Brown. He definitely hooked your boy up. And I was actually gonna give him another shout out. He didn't even know, but my new single is dropping on April 1st. And no, that is not a joke. My new single On My Mind will be dropping on April 1st. And he did the album cover. He did the photography for the album cover. So was gonna give him a shout out for that. So yeah. But yo, thank you guys. This is the Marauders. We definitely enjoyed you guys spending a little bit of your time with us talking nerd stuff. And y'all have a great weekend and we'll see y'all next week. We out.
See ya.